but I like last night. I was finished with the day. Like, oh man, I was like my eyes were tired, which is weird.
Yeah.
From the decision making that you were doing.
Yeah, I not that it was a hard decision, but it's still like a big decision, and therefore tires me out, I guess.
Yeah. So Sean, you're looking at between two apartments, right? You're looking to move by the beginning of next year, and you're really up. It's up in the air about two apartments.
My lease is up in February, and I want to move. So
yeah.
I was looking at apartments. And
So you don't like your current place? I mean, it's a decent deal, right? Like you said that it's decent price. Is the rent going up?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's just I'm paying too much for what I'm getting.
Oh, really?
Like I'm just paying too much. For example, so the apartment A, I'll call it.
Is apartment A the
one with better lobby?
IH?
Yes.
Okay.
And
H, I like it.
that works too. H and S. And so that one is where was my train of thought going with that?
Has better lobby.
You asked me cost, right.
Oh, okay.
So cost, right? If I were to go with that place, right, which I actually did apply for that one. I applied for that apartment. And
Did you not apply to the other one?
No.
Okay. I'd still apply. I mean, what's the application
Why would I
fee?
do
$50?
that?
Have you?
I mean, the application fees for apartment H were like $345.
You're serious?
It goes to your rent though, right? If you
45 non-refundable. The other is refundable, but all of it, if I sign up that day, goes to the first month's rent. So technically it wasn't
so
too
it's
bad.
fine.
Okay.
And have you made your decision? Like I have one that I have not looked. I know you sent us these apartments like a couple days ago, but I'm just looking now, and I have one that I probably face value would go for.
Yeah.
Which I think is the one that you already are looking towards leasing.
Well,
anyways.
okay, let me try and finish my original thought with
sure.
cost, right?
Sure.
So apartment H is only a couple hundred more per month. It doesn't. It's not even that much.
Couple
It's
hundred more.
No. It's like a couple, let's say 100 more per month than my current place.
Okay.
When all is said and done.
Yeah.
Okay. But with that, I get so much more than I would at my current place.
$300 more content and quality stuff.
Yeah. Like what do you mean? Like
$100
like
more.
amenities or like square footage or what?
Mainly amenities, location,
Location's big.
cleanliness. It's just overall better. Like where I live right now isn't bad. It's just not like the inside of my apartment is nice, right? They're clean. The appliances are not like falling apart. They're like mid-level appliances, right? But the entrance from like my parking garage to like the elevator is just disgusting. Like things that get spilled and there's trash. It's just not upkept as well as I would like it to be. Mm-hmm. Because I have standards.
Yeah,
I have.
as one should. Man of quality.
This is definitely like a decent place to live, but I definitely want to live in a place where I look around and I go, oh, this looks nice. And it's both of these places that I was looking at, I sent you guys, are much better looking than my current place. Car door to front door, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was looking for. And then as far as amenities go, both have far superior amenities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this place has a pool, has a jacuzzi, right?
Okay.
But they're like,
Basic.
rinky dink,
Yeah.
basic, tiny, like standard size jacuzzi. It's like it's at the street level, so it's I can see it from my apartment or room.
Yeah.
I see that, right? What this place, my current place is going for me, it's got a really good view, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can look outwards and I see mountains and I see great stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But It's the rest of it's like meh.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
both these new places, right? Well, I don't know about apartment S, but H has a junior-sized Olympic infinity pool on the fourth floor,
Okay. Yeah.
overlooking the entire mountain range, and then like an extra large jacuzzi, like right behind that. Tons of cool, not tons, but like several like community rooms. One's like a kitchen. One's like a giant screen for like game watching
Oh,
and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha.
Several other things. Apartment S has, as well a large pool, not as big, but both are opened year round.
yeah.
And my current place is closed during the winter
Wow. Okay.
for the pool wise. The gym in apartment H is massive. It's a 2-story gym
Wow.
with
Holy
tons of
crap.
stuff.
That's a
And it's
full
included?
gym. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all included. Right.
Oh, that's. I think honestly, that's worth $100 a month. Since you work out,
That
like,
itself.
if
Yeah.
you can,
if it's a good gym.
I mean, obviously, a climbing gym is a little different, but if you could do like, hey, I need to go work out just normally. I don't want to go
Yeah.
outside, especially during the wintertime. Like,
Yeah, I'm getting that a lot in the winter. I'm like, I don't
yeah. I
wanna
still
go.
want
yeah,
to go outside.
you can go to a serious gym. Now, it's not going to be as fun because it's like, weight equipment, and it's not you're climbing up, problem solving that way.
Well, I mean, I still do normal like workouts on the and there's tons of machines. There's free weights, blah blah.
Yeah.
Apartment H, S also has a gym, but it's fairly small.
Fairly small. Okay.
I think the thing about apartment S is it's a way better location.
So is it?
Right.
I thought H
Yeah.
looked really good as location wise.
H was-
It
they're both
is,
good.
right?
Yeah.
It's so H is next to like a kind of a prominent outdoor shopping mall for my area, and then apartment S is in a very like the hip neighborhood,
Yeah.
And
I
it's
see the
got,
neighborhood
it's
now.
definitely way more walkable in a
Yeah.
sense of
Yeah.
Where?
little restaurants right next to a brewery. I mean, there's a lot of things going for that location wise.
Is H actually closer to downtown though?
Yes,
Because that's what it looked like.
it is definitely much like it's an easy bird into downtown.
Yeah. Because that was initially drawing me to H quite a bit. I was like, oh, it's right there to downtown. Looks like
But
it'd be easy
you have
to get
to think. But the thing though about distances, at least for me, right,
yeah.
is everything's close. Really, there's no problem driving anywhere, and it's not going to take a long time.
Yeah.
I understand why you'd say, oh, you want to be right next to downtown because it's a lot closer. Doesn't
Right.
matter for me.
Yeah.
I could be anywhere and it's fine. I consider myself very close to downtown where I am. And
Right. And you're further away
know,
now.
It's 10-minute drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's a 10-minute drive. So, yes, I would be closer, but it's not a huge deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
It's more about what's in the immediate vicinity.
Yeah. And I get this this little more hip. You said like it's like a hipster vibe, or just more like
Hip.
hip.
Yeah.
It's more hip.
Hipster, kind of, but like just hip.
And it is
like,
right outside.
like the
And that
younger
is-
crowd.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
kind of nice. Because I see all this shit like a block away from you, and it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I think that's my thought process on it. I think we talked about this a little bit. I think my thought process is right. You're gonna be spending, a couple, more $100 a month at the more hip place, right? S location S,
Yeah.
and you'll be
It's like compounding, right?
Yeah.
It's hip area, which means it's more expensive, and therefore it's more expensive to live there. So it's like everything is more expensive.
yeah. So
you know?
like the market close to there, right? Which is within easy walking distance, is probably more expensive, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so you have to
probably.
you have to buy. You'll have to pay more to get the same value, right? I mean, you'll be getting organic stuff or whatever, right? Where it's labeled, right? It's a Whole Foods.
Well, S is also within walk distance of a Target, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So-
like it's
Oh, yeah.
really close to big, like very mainstream
what nice.
stores
I mean,
too.
for me, I love having the ability to walk to
man.
places, right? Pick up groceries, but like Colton, like that's one of the coolest spots about your place is it's fairly close to Trader Joe's, right? Where
Yeah.
you can just go to a Trader Joe's.
yeah,
and
yeah.
pick up
Here's
food.
here's the thing. Both of them are next to metro stations, though. So
How close is H though? Because I think
But-
it's definitely further. I know S
Yeah.
is outside the front door, right? That's
Yeah.
where a metro stop is.
But
Yeah, maybe that's a little bit deceiving.
yeah,
H is like like a half-mile walk, I think, which isn't terrible, but
it's like 2 blocks.
not like I use the metro too much anyway.
Well, yeah,
Especially
you don't
if
really like
if I'm
metros,
closer to
right?
downtown, I can just bird. Not
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
too bad.
Well, you don't really like
It's-
metros, do you? I remember
Oh,
when
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tend not to use them because it's usually quicker and easier to drive. But I will occasionally use them. I've used it here.
Yeah.
I
When
so
you
if
need to drink.
Yeah, if it's better to plan around that.
So
Yeah.
what I'm seeing, Sean, is you have one pretty close. I don't know how much information you want me to say, whether the line or the type of transport, but I'm getting one that's like
like a
5
trolley.
minutes out of your house. It's the green.
Yeah,
That's 5 minutes away, but
5-minute walk.
5 minute walk to get to that green rail. But
It's not too bad.
I'm routing, like I'm pretending to route from H apartment to S apartment because I'm like, oh, maybe you'll want to go to S apartment, and it says it will be like an hour ride. I'm
Yeah,
assuming because
I mean,
that
it's-
rail is not super fast. From the
Well,
looks
it's
of it.
also lots of stops, right? I mean,
Yeah, there is a lot of
that-
stops. Yeah, you're right.
That would be like to drive between the two is 10 minutes.
Yeah, you would rather drive for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up applying after I talked it over with you guys.
Yeah.
A couple people. I applied for H. Mm-hmm. And hopefully I get it. It'd be cool. The downside with both places, right, is I'd have to pay probably an extra like a double month's rent because my lease here is up in February, and most places I applied to move in January because there's nothing available in February.
Oh, really?
So
You could risk it. You could just wait it out and see if something opens up February.
I don't know. And part of the reason I did decide to go with H is they just had a price drop,
Okay.
which apartment complexes normally lower prices in the winter. 'cause
Yeah.
it's harder to get people to move then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Less demand.
Good time of the year to move. Mm-hmm. And they had just done that, and I don't know how soon that was, but I imagine pretty soon, like within the last week of me getting the tour. So the apartment I applied for was a really good price.
Yeah.
Compared to what you would normally pay for this place.
Yeah.
So I figured I might as well just try and lock it in. I like the place. It's closer to work. It's a lot closer to work than my current place and the other apartment S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think I'd be happy with it. So
Yeah.
I applied for that. But we'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
Also, apartment S had more social aspects to it, right? Like it was much more focused on
Oh,
you're
like
in
community
hip
events.
town. Like there's like community event, a lot of community
Yeah.
events.
There was
Yeah.
definitely a lot of convenient events. But
Yeah.
there were several that are supposed to happen in apartment H. So it's probably like 4 or 5 a month, which aren't too bad. So
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I personally would go with apartment H because like the social events are cool, but I don't like living in like the super hip area. One, because it can be kind of busy. I mean, it's nice to just go out and like, visit people. But even like me being more extroverted than you, I'd be like, I want to stick with apartment H rather than also I like the extra couple $100 a month. Cause I think there's what,
yeah,
like 200
if I
bucks
do
a
it in
month
apartment
more.
S, it would probably be stretching a little bit.
Yeah,
and I
that'd be
don't really
tough.
want to do that.
And you'd be stretching it more because you'd be almost forced to be more social. Therefore, you'd be actually spending even more money.
No. I am not one to be forced to be more social, but I do
Oh, an
want to
option.
be. So that's
Yeah.
it's a difference.
Yeah. It's
I think
weird.
I think you'll be social regardless in one of these, but
Yeah. I think H apartment is the better apartment. I think I've come to that conclusion. But the S apartment, it would really depend because if I really like the area, I would go for maybe S. But it definitely have to be I'd have to really like that area over the other
Yeah.
areas. That's the big thing. It's like for me, even like the social aspect. You can do it at either place, but if my favorite coffee shops and restaurants and area to walk around is by S apartments, it depends on what that price would be, but I'd spend maybe a couple
Yeah.
extra money to do that. So,
I've also been to like where H apartment is. I don't think I've ever been to where S is, and that H area is pretty nice.
I feel like the H area looks nice from like Google Street View.
I mean, it's just it's just like right next to downtown. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
decent.
Is it next to your favorite sushi restaurant? What's the closest?
It is fairly close to it. I don't know if it's straight walking, but probably birdable.
Birdable? Okay. Well, that's important.
Let me
that's
think.
important.
Yeah, probably.
Is it close to an In-N-Out, you know?
That's true.
Another important one.
What? Shoot. One thing that I am really excited though about both of the apartments is they have gas stoves.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's a huge win.
So you can actually get a wok. You can use a wok.
Yeah, you can use a wok.
I could cook normally.
Yeah.
So I
you
could
can
do.
cook like how things are meant to be cooked. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, which
man,
that's a good
electric
money saving thing.
Yeah, well, and gas is included. So there's like a flat community rate, right?
That's good.
And
Yeah.
everything is included in that except for electricity and insurance, right?
And internet, right?
That's included.
Whoa,
That's included? That's a big one.
Interesting. I haven't
Yeah.
seen a lot of places like that.
Internet,
No.
gas, trash valet, parking, gym, everything. The masseuse isn't included, but
There's a fucking masseuse?
there is like a sauna masseuse room.
Huh. I wonder if you can like sign up for
you're
a massage.
selling me on this place
That's
already,
kinda
man.
cool. Yeah.
Hey, Sean, can I move in next door?
Well, next door, sure, why not? Yeah, it's got a lot of perks, so I'd be excited to do it. Also, the pool, so the pool's year round, and the pool is kept at 85 to 90 degrees,
It's warm. I think
That's awesome.
Pretty warm.
even in the
Yeah.
winter, which I think
So
is pretty
it's
cool.
That'd
When
be
I was
great in the
there,
winter?
Yeah.
it was. I think I sent you guys a picture, but when I was there, it was all steaming up.
Steaming up,
like,
yeah.
it's
It's really cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
like 30 degrees
Are,
right now.
are all these free amenities why H gets so much lower than S apartments? Like you have the free Wi-Fi, so that's obviously, you know, I don't know if that it's like $60. Okay.
What do you mean gets lower or?
Well, like because H is, you said, a couple hundred a month lower than S apartments, or $100 less than S apartments.
Probably when all said and is done, probably a couple hundred.
Okay, so I was like, well, you have the free Wi-Fi, so that's a huge benefit. You have all these other free things, you know, that might be more money and another complex.
And when Sean and I were talking about a little bit earlier, you said that this, like, you already included everything, right? Like monthly in your monthly
Yeah.
bill, right? Because when I
Yeah.
talk about stuff, I try to include like, you know, average utilities and everything like that.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
included under the.
Yeah, I try and
Roof.
all calculated in. So yeah, I think my point with the stove, there's gas is included.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the kind of monthly. Now, I'm assuming, probably a question I should clarify with the manager, but if gas is included and it's a flat rate, right? Mm-hmm. So if I don't use any gas, it's still the same. Or if I use a ton, cook a ton that month,
Right.
Is it?
If you want to heat your
Same.
home with gas,
I was gonna say you should heat your
gas
home
stove.
with the gas stove.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like it's a hack.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like,
Dude,
yeah.
honestly, my mom had done that before. Like,
Oh,
because
really?
like, well,
Gosh.
there's one time when she's like, I need to save a little bit on like electricity and stuff. So we literally opened up the stove and like she closed off, like some of like the back rooms and just kept them cold, and then just the front rooms, like basically it's like my room and like the living room, and the only two places, and the kitchen were the only two places being like, or three places being heated. And she's
Did
like,
I
I'm just gonna
send
use the stove.
Oh wow.
Is it- instead of using a
Guys,
central air
walk
system.
through
It was funny.
of the actual floor plan that I'm.
I would love to
looking
see
at-
it. I don't think I looked at it yet, or I don't know if you sent it.
I may not have sent it to you guys. I just sent it. It's it's definitely a bit smaller than my current place,
Oh,
right? I would
okay.
say a good probably 50 square feet smaller.
That's not too bad.
Which isn't too. So here's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not too bad, but it's also I don't have much to begin with, right? I'm already kind of maxing out space. So,
You think so?
yeah.
How's your closet space? I think it's the big, for me, the big one is closet. So is it like does it have like a walk-in closet like you do right now?
yeah. Well, mine's kind of like a walk-through closet, and this one has a walk-in. It's, I mean, so one thing it's missing, two things is missing, right? I guess one major thing is missing. It's missing a pantry. So
Is
I have
it?
a pantry here, which has all my
That's
stuff.
really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
There is no pantry in the new place, or in this floor plan I'm looking at.
Yeah.
So I need to put things away in drawers or
Like
figure
Yeah.
something
one
else.
I mean,
cupboard
I've
is
dealt
like
with dealt with
now
that before. My
Yeah.
old apartment was
not the
like that,
worst.
no pantry. It's not
Yeah.
bad.
Well, see,
So-
my apartment right now has enough stuff in it that it's not cluttered, right? And that's at I
Right.
want to say I have just under 800 square feet, right?
That's really nice.
And I would be moving to about 730, 720
Yeah.
square feet,
Which is sizable.
which is
Yeah.
sizable, less than my current, right? Which means I'm gonna have to compress things
Yeah.
slightly, and that's I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it.
We also have a massive, like, you have a pretty big living room. I won't say massive.
Yeah.
You got a pretty, like, I bet that could be compressed a little bit.
That's
I bet
kinda-
you can find 50 square feet to remove from that, your current apartment. And, like,
And
this will go.
squeeze it down.
For it, yeah.
It
Squeeze
kind
down.
of seems like
You'll be
that's where
fine. What about the
it-
kitchen? Is the kitchen, you got a actually fairly sizable kitchen right now.
Yeah.
I'm also missing. I also lose an island. I have an island right now. I really like it.
And the new one's an L.
I lose an island.
Yeah.
Guys, that does suck.
Yeah. It looks like the
That's a big
kitchen's
L.
still really big in the new one, but the living room
Yeah,
is where
it's
you
decent.
take some hit.
It also has a full size fridge, right?
Yeah,
Fridge
yeah.
and freezer.
yeah.
Oh, you have a
and
half size
washer
right now?
and dryer. It feels a little small. It's like a big. It's a my height
Oh,
freezer
yeah.
or fridge, but it just feels a little smaller than like
Yeah.
a regular family home.
Right.
Or fridge. And it's
Yeah.
got actual washer and dryers. So I have washer and dryer, but it's that stackable unit, that's
Yeah.
like all 2-in-1. This is two separate washer dryer. I think they're Whirlpool.
Are they in another room? Because you could store stuff in there. That could be
There
nice.
is, so I think in the video I sent you guys, they go into a room that is, it's the laundry room, and it has also
yes.
like a rack, like closet rack, and that's probably
Yeah.
where I put I have an entryway closet here that has my coats and things, golf clubs, and that's where that would go, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. The only
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, it's workable. Like
Yeah.
I saw it and I thought, this could work.
Dude, your kitchen's fine because you're trading out a island for a bar.
yeah.
So you're going with the galley kitchen style, which like what
got
Colton
that.
has.
But I'm not
which
going
is good.
to put many things on the bar,
I mean, I like it because then you can have like if you have stools or like seating. Yeah, you just put your stools there, and like I think it's
And you don't need a dining room
honestly,
table.
I like,
but I
like
wouldn't
galley
say put.
kitchens
I
more.
wouldn't put like an appliance on the bar.
Oh yeah. Now, I don't know. I put my toaster I'd put my toaster on the bar.
Yeah. See, we're very different.
We're on different levels. here.
Colton's got his toaster on a fucking like table.
I know. I have it on the separate like.
And there's
rack
many things
thing.
I would change. I don't live in your guys' places, right?
Yeah,
Like this
yeah.
this is how I like to make my house. Essentially,
dude, the
Yeah.
shower is dope as fuck, man.
That's what I would be really like. It's
shower
a
is cool.
stand-up shower. It's not a bathtub, right? Which I really like.
Yeah.
Now this isn't this is the same floor plan, but not the same room. So I don't like. For example, there's a little nook in the living room.
Yeah.
That on the floor plan map says it's a desk, right?
Oh, okay.
And then when I talked to the rental agent, they said, "Oh, there's like a granite slab there." But in the video of this walkthrough, there's nothing there. It's just a
space.
outlet, right?
Also, the
don't know what
walk-in,
it's
the
gonna
walk-in
be.
closet is dope as well. It's honestly better than your current one because it's got built-in shelving.
I feel like I have built-in shelving.
Yeah, but like the stacks, I thought you had one level of shelves that
Like a
top,
wire.
up top, and then you
Yeah,
had,
that's true. It's only one level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love the built-in shelving because I don't like dressers. I like having everything visible. It sounds weird.
Well, I like dressers.
Oh, okay.
I'm fine with those.
Do you have a dresser?
I have a dresser.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the only thing that would give me pause is your living room does look like it shrunk. It shrinks in this one.
Yeah.
Which is like
It
you have to
definitely
just figure
shrunk.
out how to like the piano might have to move.
Negotiate.
My living room
apartment.
shrinks, but the bedroom gets bigger.
Yeah,
So-
so,
Put your
like
desk in the
rearrange some
bedroom.
stuff maybe.
That's the thing. I don't know if I'd have to put a desk in the bedroom, which I want to avoid.
Yeah.
And then
mean,
I also need to figure
it
out where the
works for
server
me.
goes, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
That's true.
but I'm
That's
not you.
true.
I want to separate everything as much as possible, right? And if I want a 2-bedroom, because then I could have an office, right? That's where all the stuff goes, and then I have a living room and a bedroom. I want that separation, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't. I can't do that.
You're not going to drop
stage.
$500+ for an extra just bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Although I did tour one of the 2 bedrooms, and it's very nice.
Yeah.
And then my server. I mean, that's good. Those are
Gotta
the
go
kind of the
somewhere.
big things. But
Yeah.
I measured things out, and I thought I figured I can fit everything. It's just a matter of preference on where things go.
Yeah.
You kind of sucks though. I'm gonna be honest. Your view from your current place is a lot better. You look out
Ooh, yeah,
on the
yeah, I
world
do have the
versus
mountains here,
looking
right?
inside. It's like a
Looking inside
courtyard.
the
It's a little,
thing,
little
yeah.
definitely into a courtyard, but I do like the fountains. I like the noise from the fountains.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
If you that video has audio that I sent you, so you kind of hear it at that
I'm
point.
not. Yeah, I'm not doing the audio right now, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's going through.
That's cool.
So I don't mind it so much. You know, I feel that I don't look out my windows too. Well, I guess I do. I don't know. It's gonna be one of those things. If I get the room, I'll see how I like it.
And then
know?
you'll be there for a year and be like, okay, I do and don't like this and this. Then you just
It's always a learning
iterate.
experience.
Yeah.
Yep.
You would never go for a studio, from what I'm hearing, though, right, Sean?
Oh, I
would
would
never do
hate
a
a
studio?
studio.
I've
No.
I
been
could do a
at.
studio.
I've seen some awesome studios.
Could I do it? Sure. Do I want to? No.
I might do
Well,
a
I feel like-
studio over a 1-bed, honestly, to save money and to just make the whole spot my own little space. Like, make it small and nice.
I don't know,
I like
if
combining
it-
everything.
yeah.
I kind of like it.
Kind of as
It's the exact opposite. Of,
as a single
of me.
person, I would like the studio as well. I think it just flows.
I think it's fun. Like, maybe that would get really boring, and maybe I'm speaking out of my ass, but
Yeah,
I would do
it's
it at least for a
definitely-
year.
Honestly, the studio definitely gives it a lot away, like a good bachelor pad vibe, right?
Yeah.
Like-
and yeah.
There's a flow. It goes from the kitchen to the
kitchen
dining table to the bed.
To the bed. It's like it's just a bed right there. Your desk
You guys,
is right
you guys
there.
aren't thinking of all of the things though that are downsides of having a studio.
I know,
Let's say you
I
make
know. Yeah.
food, right? That's like a really prevalent
Stir fry?
smell, stir fry, something, right? Mm-hmm. Then that is literally sinking into your bed sheets essentially. Whereas here,
Yes.
I close my door and then I walk in and it's a separate. I'm
It's-
actually
separate environment.
separate room.
Yeah.
It feels better. Yeah, that's just one thing. Like
Yeah.
to me there's so many
There
things that
is.
I would or unintentional consequences of
Yeah.
having everything
Plus,
in
like,
one room.
I don't know, the plus side of having one bedroom also, or like an actual bedroom is I can leave my bed a fucking mess like it is right now.
Yeah.
And then have my actual common area, right, be nice and maintained. Which is usually how I do it because my room is
Or you
usually
just
kinda
maintain
messy.
the whole house. I mean,
Yeah.
like a
like a
actual
civilized person.
Yeah, the studio keeps you
I
honest.
think
You
actually
have to
most
make the
people.
bed.
I think most people are actually unfortunately are in my boat. But
You just close
Sean,
the
I
door.
I
think-
think
It's
I
easy.
think you're just trying to
Mr. Architect, Mr. Type A, I think you are. I mean, I am huffing a bit of copium, but I think most people I talk to be fair, I also talk to a specific type of person who is similar to me. So, yeah.
Mr. Echo Chamber.
Yeah, echo chamber here. Just like,
Yeah, we're
that's
all-
a great
Right?
idea. Let's do this.
We're all messy, low conscientious people. Oh my god, you're my best friend now.
Let's go. I just love how
yeah.
like it's almost like a little art exhibit. Like I went in the studio a couple weeks back, and this guy is
Wait. What?
Okay, let me hear me out.
I'm with Cole on
This
this.
guy is like
Continue.
super into plants. So his entire studio apartment has got like vines on the ceiling, plants everywhere. He's got like this super simple and
You
clean.
gotta steer clear of guys like that. If there's a dude too into plants that everything it's over his entire studio apartment.
I think it's cool. It's like super homey. Like
Yeah,
it's so much
he's the male
easier-
version of Poison Ivy.
It's so much easier to build that environment in a studio, whereas you'd have to spend like 4 times the amount of money in a 1-bed or 2-bed apartment to get all the plants everywhere. I just thought it was really cool. He had a vibe going pretty hard. He had his records out.
I
You
feel
know,
that. It's almost
right-
like a
like
big
pole
dorm
wall.
room in a way.
Yeah,
It's like,
and
because
that
like
makes
your
it
dorm
sound
room
like
is
not cool. What do you say it like a
Yeah,
dorm
right.
room?
Like that
Yeah.
sounds like
no, but like to me, it brings back memories of like when Colt and I were living together in the dorms.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We like decked out our place. Like we had like the rainbow like color changing lights, so we could like change like turn them to like whatever color we wanted. Right? So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you want cool dim blue lights. Like I remember
Yeah.
I was like, I want to spend $25 on this. Yeah, dude, this is awesome, and it's cool vibe, right?
this is one of those conversations that I want to look back on in 30 years.
Oh, I mean, it's
Be
gonna
like,
change completely.
Like these fucking idiots.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I want Michael to see like if his perspective changes in 30 years. He's like, wow, I thought living in a dorm was cool at one point. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, I never
It's like, what
thought it
happened?
was cool. I just thought, let's make the most of it.
Like I'm
I feel
past-
like you're arguing to live in one right now.
Oh no, because I'm saying it's like the same. I'm saying it's the same vibe of it's just
vibe,
one space, right? It's one space that's your own versus multiple subspaces.
Yeah, managing
to be
different
fair, the bathroom
aesthetics.
is also a portion. I would never want a shared bathroom or honestly, I don't know if I can go in an apartment anymore that has a shared washer dryer. It's such a pain in the ass. I just feel like I'm too lazy to like go to the washer dryer. Like
Yeah, I've
now
never
it's
had.
like,
It's a thing I need to have is included
yeah,
washer.
it's a
dryer.
requirement. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm past dorm living. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be in a dorm, but
hell
where
no,
everything's
yeah.
combined in a studio, right now I think I could do it. I don't know when.
Even with Carly?
Not with Carly. No. That I'm just saying if I was single, I could do it. With Carly, that would be not enough. We couldn't have any privacy separation or anything like that. I think that would suck. Me playing video games while Carly's cooking and they're like right there. That would not be awesome. But I could do a one bedroom with her, I suppose. I'm good with like a more confined space, but just not one single space. That would be a bit too much. But I like having
At
the
this
two
point in
bedroom.
my life, the desirable living situation for me is a 2-bedroom. Right?
Yeah.
I can't do that. You know, for
two bedroom as
reasons.
a single man. I like it.
It's
I want
great.
an office.
It would be
I want
great.
an office. I want a bedroom. You know.
Yeah.
But as I get older, that's definitely going to increase. Right. There
Mm-hmm.
will hit a limit because I don't like too much.
Right, yeah.
But I can definitely see it later being, office, bedroom, game room, which becomes like board games /
Oh.
entertainment media hub thing, and maybe it goes a couple more from there, but that would kind of be it. Like
Yeah.
I hate excess, so I tend not to do that. But I like I like to have designated spaces for things. So
Yeah. I mean, to
There's a
me,
balancing act.
I would love I could do a 3-bed, 2-bath house or something like that. But then, well, like you're saying, Sean, with the game room, if I had a nice basement that I could deck out, oh, that's like everything. That's all I would need for like a board game room, pool room, or something like a video game man cave type thing. That's something I want in the
pretty cool.
future, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely want my own gaming room like that, or like if if like a missus, right? You have like the shared. I don't know if you've ever seen those on like r/battle stations where they have like the
Mr.
his
yeah.
and hers gaming
Yeah.
stations. Those are really.
I think those are
really
awesome.
Sweet.
I wish Carly was in the gaming just so we could have matching gaming stations. Like I would be, she'd be pink with like the cat ear headphones, and then I would have whatever the fuck I have.
All
like,
black.
Yeah, all black with some orange because I love orange. That'd be my theme. So
I like it.
yeah, that'd be sick.
Well, we'll see if I end up getting this place. It'd be cool. And I also kind of do like having an overlap in terms of move in, move out times, because then I don't have any pressure to move. I can just say, oh, like what I was even thinking in my head, like I would get this place if it's all said and done, January 1st. Right.
Yeah.
And that was just like a whole month and a half ahead of when I was supposed to move out of my current place. Mm-hmm. So for the first, and January 1st, I think is a Monday, right? So for the first week, I would just, after work, bring over small
Just
stuff,
a few things. Yeah. A few boxes.
and then when the weekend rolls around, get a U-Haul and throw everything, the rest of everything in it, drive it over and unload it all, and that may be done with it. But it's nice to be able to have that, couple things, and even then, I could still leave a couple things here that I take out the next week, or
Yeah. It'd be really easy. You would have no stress on the moving process, for sure. And you wouldn't.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
You probably wouldn't have to rent out a U-Haul. Maybe.
Yeah.
No,
you
I
have to.
would.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay,
For the-
I'm like
like
thinking.
bed
I'm like, oh,
for
Sean's
the-
car. I don't know if that can house his mattress. Maybe not.
Yeah, no.
I
And the
can't
sofa.
put anything in my Jeep anymore. It's if it fits in my hands,
Yeah.
my outstretched arms, that's what I
Yeah.
could bring in the Jeep with me.
Yeah.
And like, so the miscellaneous items, I'd probably ferry back and forth my Jeep, but all the big things I got, desk, server, couch, even my bar stools, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would fit those in my Jeep. So all of that random stuff would go in just a big U-Haul. It's also the same price to get a U-Haul for a day if it's like a 10-foot versus a 17-foot.
Oh, okay.
Or a 20-foot. Like, they're all the same price.
Nice.
I think they're $30 for a day.
Okay, that's not bad at all.
And then like $1.50 per mile. So
Okay.
not bad. It cost me like $100 to move.
Yeah,
It's gonna
that
be
wouldn't be
awesome.
bad. That wouldn't be bad at all. You have to let us know when you do, so we can try to plan a trip out there, me and Mike.
Yeah, right.
I'm still trying to get out to
Yeah.
to where you're at. Maybe I'll want to wait till the spring, but we'll see.
Spring is really nice here.
Yeah.
But winter is also nice, I would say. You just don't want to be here in the summer.
Okay, it's too hot.
But
Just way too hot?
spring, fall, and winter are all great, I think. Yeah, it's way too hot in the summer. Spring just looks nice. Everything's green.
Yeah.
Winter I love because because the snow on the mountains looks so good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
you'll miss that
but,
at the new apartment.
yeah.
Except for
Well, I mean,
driving.
I can still go up to the roof and
Yeah,
see it. I mean,
do
the
your sight view.
pool has
Oh, dude, yeah,
360
that's right.
views.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Also,
It just-
swimming,
the only thing
swimming
that-
in like the pool at like 90, if it's like 90 degrees, jump in the pool, get all warm and stuff, and then you hop out and you're like, oh yes, it's like I'm impervious. now.
Brisk.
no, it's still going to be crazy cold. There's no helping that.
Oh.
But there is then like a dry sauna that I could hop into. And then where was I? Fall is also really nice because better temperatures and the leaves look really nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all good times. You're welcome to come stay.
We're gonna have. I'm gonna be
Also,
on a plane
this-
so much, like until March, if we do that.
This place also has guest rooms in the sense
Oh,
that
yeah.
they're just like several hotel rooms that
Mm-hmm.
you could rent or not rent
Really?
buy for like a couple days.
Yeah.
Like, let's say if my parents were coming to town, like, oh, just stay at my apartment,
Yeah.
but in the guest room, which is an apartment
That's
room.
really cool.
Yeah.
or a hotel room essentially.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. They said it was like $200 or so a night,
But
but
it's convenient. It's an option.
it can be convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of some places doing that. I love that idea. That's such a good idea, in my opinion.
I think it's
to
a good
do that.
idea, yeah.
Yeah. So cool. Cool.
So yeah, I was. We'll see what happens. I don't see any reason why my application would get rejected, but
Yeah.
there's always that kind of uncertainty that they have to check everything and
Yeah.
like, I don't know
Go
what's
through
gonna happen.
your sketchy background history.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't make
they
200K
gonna
a
find the
year. You
time
can't
that I-
afford this. Or they'll slap you with like double the rent on the security deposit. That was
yeah.
my.
I don't know.
My
That's
apartment.
actually bullshit.
Yeah, my apartment was like, all right, so if you get approved for your application, you're either gonna pay a $400 security deposit, or 2x your monthly rent security deposit. And I'm like, this
What?
is like a 10x. This is like a magnitude of difference in money. Like,
Yeah.
Crazy.
well, I think it was like if you're close to not being able to afford it, they'd hit you with a huge security deposit. But
That doesn't make
I know.
any sense.
It's like you're a higher risk, so I don't know. But Carly and I were like, well, we were good. We
Yeah.
were solid. So
That's just such
It's
a
fine.
dumb rule. Like, if you're higher risk because you make less money, like what?
Yeah.
That's such typecasting. Like,
It is,
kind
yeah.
of, yeah. So I don't know. Pray to
That's so
anyone who
stupid.
had to pay that, because that is just
Yeah.
absurd. And
the
hope
benefit of me right now is I do have. I mean, it's November and I move out in middle of February, so I have. Even if this place gets denied
Oh,
me,
yeah.
I have plenty of time to find another place.
lots of time.
You know?
That's true. Yeah. You're searching well in advance. I know a lot of people, when I was touring places in my city, they're like, yeah, usually they're like, I need an apartment in 2 weeks, which is kind of how you were, Sean, when you first moved to your new spot, right?
I mean, kind of, but I had already done a lot of research like a month or two prior.
Yeah. Yeah. So you knew
And
where you
then-
wanted to go. It wasn't too
Yeah,
big of a deal.
roughly.
Yeah. So
Yep. But Colin, that's also the vibe of where you're at. Like,
Kind
you're
of.
just like, oh, I need it like I need it yesterday.
I need it. Yeah, it's like, oh,
shit.
my lease is up in 2 days.
And not
Oh,
because I
no.
need it yesterday because they're being like a
Tuesday.
Karen. It's I need it yesterday because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people that do that. They're like that I've talked to that are a month out and haven't really started searching. But I don't know. I like to prepare for
Yeah.
that in advance for
Oh
sure.
yeah, I prepare like 6 months in advance.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't want to put that up to chance. Mm-hmm. So
This was definitely a situation where I thought, okay, I need another set of eyes. So that's when I started sending out to people.
Honestly,
so thanks for
I think
taking
it's
a look at
I think
that.
it's great. I that's a really smart idea.
Yeah.
I usually ask like hey, my dad and my mom, like usually my dad actually. He's usually the good. He and I are in the same mindset of like dollar cost. Like there's like a dollar value for certain amenities and stuff, and like does this match? Can this go into thing? So, yeah, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think also, right? Like, I got done with the tour, and they're like, "Oh, do you want to sign a lease?" And I was like, "Hold on now,
say, whoa.
oh, that's
too
good.
quick."
It's like taking the like job offer immediately, right? It's
Yeah.
like,
Right.
yes, I will take this meeting. No, it's like you always say, I gotta say, I'll think on it, right?
Or-
And
Yeah.
like,
So I was like, "Okay, well, how's the?"
yeah. You can't be too eager.
You should counter offer.
Yeah, because if you sign it today, we'll do the waive the administration fee, right?
Yeah,
Apply it
yeah.
to whatever. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, that's pretty good because it's not a cheap administration fee, right? But I'm still fine paying that later if
Yeah.
it means that it just isn't the
you're
right
happy.
fit,
Yeah.
if it saves me that.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'll have to think about it a little bit. And she goes, oh, well, I mean, if you still apply it by the end of the day, I can still waive the fee. And I go, aha, there we go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You could counter offer too. You'd be like, I see it for this month rent. You can just counter offer $100 less. See if they do it. That does.
I don't think it really counts.
that would do it.
That does happen. Me and Carly counter offered in our current place, and we got all the way up to like corporate, and then they were like, nah, because like
That's kind of crazy.
yeah, you
'Cause
can.
I think
it
I
is the
think
thing.
right now the demand for, I mean, I guess it depends on the area, right? But the demand for living spaces is higher. No, is higher.
Than the amount available. I don't think that's the case, but I do think it's the demand is
The
increasing.
demand's
right?
increased. Yeah.
Well,
Because-
for my area, the demand is more than there is.
Oh,
Available,
really?
Right.
Okay.
so?
So, definitely. So, the ability to bargain for me would be less, right? Because they can say, "Oh, it doesn't matter. Someone else is going to come right away and apply." So, I tend not to do that, especially like I thought this was a really good price considering
I mean, yeah,
all the factors.
sure. Yeah, you don't have to just do it to do it, but for anyone searching for apartments, you can counter offer even if they are a corporate like
That's
entity.
kind of cool.
Yeah, so the more you know, the more you know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I've done that before and if it worked or if I just got even closer another time.
I feel like that's normal for jobs, but not for.
It is, yeah, not normal for places of living.
Yeah, I've not heard that happen.
I think
for
it's like
apartment, but
I mean,
for
it's
job,
pretty
yeah.
normal for in other countries, I think, but in the States, it's like, all right, you are like the price is the price.
Yeah. I mean, it's just less likely to happen with corporate entities. I mean, if you did a family-owned guy, like this guy is renting out his house, and he's like, I got this rent here, and you're like, well,
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true. I would
Yeah.
if this wasn't like this wasn't a corporate owned apartment complex.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But if I was saying renting a basement from somebody,
right.
I would probably counter and say, oh, hey, I would do this for
this
you know,
much. Yeah.
this much.
Yeah.
And see what they say.
Yeah. That's probably where, that
But
is where it's more
because
common.
this is more of a corporate.
They're much less likely to budge. And then with the demand
Yeah.
so high, yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Well, I mean, with housing prices or housing like interest rates, right? They're so high right now. People are going for apartments a lot more
Yeah.
Yeah.
and not looking to buy houses.
Yeah, that's true, actually. They're staying in their
I mean,
apartments.
honestly, that's what I'm thinking of right now. Like, I honestly, I'm just mostly waiting to like, I do want
crashes.
to find kind of where I'm at, right? If I want to be somewhere else. I mean, honestly, I do enjoy where I'm at, but I probably want to move out to where you guys are.
Yeah, so you got to move out to where
And,
we're at.
Yeah. But I'm like thinking like, oh, like it's better for me to save up money now and wait to then, oh, maybe I can afford an actual house and
That's
then
true.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, that's fair.
and build equity that way rather than going for a like an apartment, right? Which is you're not really building
Yeah.
any equity. You're just paying a flat rate.
I would definitely buy a house, right? If I had two circumstances that were going for me. One, had the money, right? That would, I mean, if so,
Need the money first. Yeah.
in a way, going in with apartment is a bad idea because you're saving less money. Costs are always going to increase, blah, 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 right? But for buying a house, especially right now, you're essentially going to buy really high, and then it's going to crash. And then I don't know if I want to be here very long, right?
Yeah.
If I get a house, I am now tied in, and I could sell it, right? But then
Yeah.
I have that comes with its own host of problems.
Yeah, you're at the will of the
or
market.
rent,
Yeah, you
same
might
thing.
you might not be able to sell. You might be forced to kind of just wait out
Yeah.
the bad
Also,
market.
you'll get better locations for an apartment. I mean, honestly, like right now.
Yeah,
is a
I
better
think
time.
right now, like I could be right next to the freeway and wouldn't mind it, because there's so many pros and cons to both ways of doing things, and I think just the reason I don't get a house right now is because I don't know where I'm going to be
Yeah.
in 2 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Also, you
if
remember
I was
taxes.
in a tax,
Taxes.
like if I was in a place that I thought this is it, this is the place that I'm going to stay for a decade,
Yeah.
right? I would 100% buy a house,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to me,
But-
it's the uncertainty of where I'm going to be that means I shouldn't buy a house.
Honestly, my thought process is I'm gonna be there for 3 years. Buy a house. Yeah. Because I think,
I can see
like,
that.
honestly, this is one thing I wish my mom had did because when my dad got divorced, she hasn't owned a house or anything. I said it was at the same apartment complex for 18 years. Sorry, same apartment for 18 years. Same apartment complex for like 25.
Oh.
No,
like,
I
just-
couldn't do that.
Yeah, and I'm
No,
like,
no.
it's a better option to actually save up your money and buy a house than rent. I mean, she got a great deal. Like she knew that, like she
She knew the
was
person.
tight with the people.
Yeah.
No, she didn't know the person, but
different.
they just were tight with the people, and she's like, she usually get discounts on it. I mean, not
Okay.
like crazy, but like, and for the area, it was amazing.
Well, I mean,
what
that's
she paid for a
definitely
two-bedroom.
different,
Yeah,
I mean, right now, not that I'm in tune with how things are right now very much, but I think interest rates are so high that you can't really get it unless you have a crazy down payment. You're not going to have a good monthly payment on your mortgage if you get a house. So
yeah. Interest rates, I think,
it
are
would
6.5 right now.
They're
it'd
crazy.
Just
Yeah.
it would suck.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
and I agree. In a way, it's like financially, it is maybe better if you know you're going to be somewhere 3 years to buy that house. But I do, in a way, it's like convenience. It's like back to that conversation of convenience. It's like I don't have to think about all these parameters of, if I don't want to stay here, now I got to sell the house.
yeah.
I just
Yeah.
could be at the apartment, and I don't feel pressure to like have a house right now and to, I know I'm throwing away money, but it's not like I'm not meeting the 401k payments that I want to make.
Well,
and
you're not throwing away money. You're just
you're sacrificing.
You're not. Well, you have to remember that housing, right? Is look at housing like an investment because
It is, yeah.
statistically houses appreciate, right? They're really because it's like the
They're a
opposite
good,
of
safe
inflation, right?
Yeah.
They usually tend to go against inflation, and so they tend to appreciate in value.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to like cars, right, which depreciate, right? They lose value over time. Houses tend
Yeah.
to go up.
They
in,
go up, yeah.
value.
Right.
So it's like a safe
so-
investment. I like the idea
fairly,
of
yeah.
investing my
I mean,
money.
Unless like your house burns down, right?
Yep.
You gotta be-
Yep.
And you also have to maintain it. Make sure.
Yeah,
it's nice.
it's extra work with taxes.
Yeah, but
And,
I mean, if you're paying like say like I don't know if like all you bought like a crazy expensive house, right? Then you'll be paying a lot in property taxes, a lot in obviously the mortgage is going to be high, right?
yeah, yeah.
But and it all depends on down payment too, and yeah, I mean right now is literally one of the worst. times
Don't
to
buy right now.
yeah,
Because
right now,
yeah.
I mean, it's almost a moot point because right now
That's
it
why
would
I'm
be
literally just sitting
terrible.
back and like I'm gonna just stay like I'm living with my dad right now, right?
Yeah.
Living
Yeah.
with him, and he fortunately he got a house like right as like the market started to go up, and he got an exceptional deal. Like
Oh,
his
good.
the house right now is worth probably 50% more than what he actually bought it for.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Like, which is insane.
That is
right?
wild return on investment.
Just based
so
on
quickly.
like how much like we've put work into this place as well as just how that is, right? ROI is great.
Right.
but wait till the market collapses.
Yeah.
It's honest, like I keep saying this,
be
but
about
like
the
it's
same.
going to happen.
It's gonna happen
gonna
eventually. Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already started to slope or slump.
Yeah. I think it's stagnant right now, or it's stagnating, and then it's going to slump back down, and then once housing actually becomes somewhat affordable again, especially since wages haven't really appreciated that much post COVID.
Wages have that whole wage we've had stagnating
dude,
wages
I feel
for a long
it's funny.
time.
Like I got a pretty big raise moving to the current company I'm at, right? Like or increase in salary, right?
Right,
And now
right.
it feels like it's like even because of
inflation. Yeah.
Right?
That's
I'm
it.
like,
over the past couple of years, it'll creep
I got
up.
20. I got a 20% bump, and it's moved.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's definitely, you always have to keep. That's why I never feel bad about trying to argue for more, because it'll go away.
It
because,
will.
I mean, statistically, wages have never outpaced inflation, right?
yeah. Well,
I mean-
in the past 40 years, like they were
right.
back in like the 50s and 60s. Wages actually we had really good wage growth, right? But ever since like the 1970s, wages have really stagnated against inflation.
Yeah,
right?
the cost of living has outpaced the
Yeah.
cost of wages for a while now.
Which is nice when you have like when you work with someone who has like a COLA, right? A lot of bigger companies have cost of living.
Like
They basically say, okay, we're going to put a 5%, 4%,
Sure.
5%, 3%.
And I do see that at several places, but I know I've seen places that it's just not enough. Like they say, oh, this is an inflation cost. Like your inflation adjustment is not what inflation is.
Yeah, because like
this is-
they'll do.
Also, let's be real. The actual inflation is much more than the 8% figure that's been pushed out there, right? It feels like it's actually like 15 to 20%, like in everything.
Well,
everything feels so much more expensive.
how does it just
I don't-
feel that way, or is there another way you can back that up? I guess I haven't felt it.
Oh, just looking at the cost of goods and stuff.
I have
Oh,
not
okay,
felt
gotcha.
that much of an increase.
Yeah,
Not.
I don't think I felt
I
that crazy of an increase too. Maybe over the past like 5 years, but not over a single year or two.
No, yeah, it maybe feels 5 to 10%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
feels like my grocery bill's gone up
I mean-
10%, like since I started working after college, 10 to 15% maybe.
Really?
I would need to check my history log, but I know. I mean, just right now, I mean, gas is still a huge expense for me because of how terrible my car is in gas mileage, and the price has gone
Yeah.
up since I
And
moved
you're
here.
the only one of us who goes to work every single day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah. 8 to 5. I'm like, I'm 8 to 5, but half the time I'm at home, and Colton is 90% of the time at home. right?
I go in.
Yeah, I was just talking
Yeah.
with a coworker about how expensive working is.
Yeah.
You don't just get money from work; you have to spend money to work,
Yeah.
and it's so
Yeah.
much.
Also, dude, so it's funny. I learned that companies in Japan actually tend to pay for metro passes.
See,
and
that would
stuff
be
like
awesome. I mean,
I
That'd be
watched a
great.
video recently.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, why don't companies do that? I mean, it makes sense because
I always thought the commute to
car
work
culture.
should be paid for by work, but
Yeah, I
course
mean, it makes
no one
sense
would
for
do
car
that.
culture because what that does is it promotes people like it doesn't promote efficient, increasing your efficiency that way. Also, just like American, it's just not gonna it's not gonna
Yeah.
fly in America. But it's really
I
nice
know, but
over there.
it's,
I do think
it's
It
it
companies
definitely
should
makes
pay for metro.
like
though.
the next company I want to do would definitely be work from home, right? Because
Yeah.
I would just save so much.
Yeah.
I would save so much money if I didn't have to drive into work.
Yeah. It's the time for
Oh,
me. It's like you get so much more
Also-
time.
The time
also,
too, yeah.
value on your car too, right? Like
Yeah.
I used to have to drive a lot.
Every day I'm putting 20 something miles on my car.
Yeah. And I think 20 a week, maybe less.
Yeah, it's just it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. I don't there's no solution.
Yeah.
It's just one of those complaints.
I do think that's like a Gen Z type of thinking, though, like getting paid to come into work. Like, not that I disagree, I suppose, but
It's not that I'm getting paid to come into work. It's that you're negating the costs that are associated
yeah,
with going to work.
But like, I
Yeah.
guess that's supposed to be in your regular salary, right? Isn't that just you're getting paid, and that's kind of your consideration when taking it?
Supposedly, but
supposedly, but I don't think it equates.
Oh, okay.
yeah. I do
don't
think
know.
it would make more sense in a big city where, especially someplace like New York City, right, where metro system is the norm.
It's prevalent,
for
yeah.
your middle class, right? That I think that is the norm, and
I mean,
that should be included. But
if
someplace in the car centric, no.
if it was included in your salary, right? One of the things I'd ask you when you're getting your salary is, okay, where do you live?
Yeah.
So they can calculate how far away you have to drive.
Yeah.
And the costs associated with that. But that doesn't happen. That's not an interview question.
It's not, I guess.
It's definitely, it's not. Your salary is supposedly based on your skills and the position and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. It's definitely not based on.
Not like location
Travel
and
time.
stuff, yeah. I don't know. I would love for this to happen. I just don't know if we'll be able to.
Oh, it's never
to
gonna.
get over that.
Not in another 20 years, but I just.
Yeah.
It's something I've thought about it before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does suck though, especially when you're like, you have a gas guzzling car, right? Actually,
Yeah.
honestly, it's almost a benefit when I think about like from a climate change perspective. It's a benefit to do how it is currently, right? Because people are incentivized to spend or like to buy cars that are more ecologically friendly, get better gas mileage. Therefore, they're spending less on gas for transit.
That's the wrong way to approach the problem, though. Like, you're, that's yeah. I just don't agree how that is a good solution. Like, oh, we have this terrible consequence, and it forces us to do something else. You want to have a different type of change for that,
Really? I don't know. I feel like incentives are the way to go. You always want to think of what
But this isn't an incentive. This is a detriment that you have to work around, right?
It's true, yeah. But
That's
I'm
not
thinking about like say
incentivizing.
if you pay people to go to work, right? Like their transit fees, right?
Yeah.
It incentivizes people to get, or it de-incentivizes people to get gas friendly vehicles, right?
An
High
incentive.
MPG
If you were
vehicles.
to incentivize somebody, an employer would say, "All right, we will give if you are driving to work, we will give you $2,000 towards your next eco-friendly car payment." Right? That's an incentive, not forcing somebody to realize a mistake, because then they don't necessarily have the ability to make the choice, right? Like they are. Man, I'm losing my train of thought. But if you're forcing I would have to make the decision and say, oh, I'm in this hole, right? Because of how much my car is costing me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to do this new thing, right? That is just a detriment, or not detriment, but every step of the way is a negative choice for me, right? I'm just trying to clarify the use of the word incentive in this scenario, I guess.
Promotes a specific. It promotes it incentivizes an objective. It's promoting an objective, right? Through a non-regulatory means. It's just through through market factors, right?
Yeah. I just disagree that it's an incentive. It's more of what's the opposite of incentive? Hold on.
No, incentive can be negative or positive, but incentive is a moot. It's a neutral term, right?
Really?
When it's and incentivizes.
Well, you can de-incentivize something, like keep people.
I guess that's true. So a thing that
I don't think
motivates or
decentivize is
encourages
an actual
that
word. I
do
think it's
something.
just it's an incentive, but it's an incentive towards something that is a negative view. I mean, I could be wrong on this.
Decentivize seems like it should
my
be a
ENTP
word.
is coming out here.
I agree with you that the definition is a neutral word.
Is it-
Gosh
yeah, it's
darn it. But I think the social
Connotation?
connotation is positive.
Positive,
right?
yes, yeah.
Decentivize is a
So
word.
there
I
is
looked it up.
this.
It's
is?
just
Okay.
it's to discourage someone from doing something instead of encouraging someone to do something.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. The more you know.
The more you know.
Yeah. I want to go.
I have been thinking about buying a fuel efficient car.
Oh no.
That's just the work car,
No.
right?
But you're a Jeep lover though, man.
Well, I wouldn't
also-
sell my Jeep.
Yeah, you just get a eco car to do,
But that's like
tasks
extra
with and
car.
stuff.
That's extra payments. That's less you can spend on awesome places to live or
Less you
things.
can
to
Well, I
do,
don't
right?
have a car payment right now.
But you could spend
That's
this,
true,
this
yeah.
money on just a new Jeep.
regardless, I would have a car payment. If I
Yeah.
sold the Jeep and bought a new car, or just
Yeah.
bought a new car. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here's the question: is your car payment going to be equal to the amount of the difference?
The amount I would save in fuel.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Probably
so
not,
I
yeah.
mean, that's why I
Yeah.
haven't gotten a new car yet.
So that's a de-incentive to getting a new car.
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
it's a whole thing.
hopefully your apartment
I like how we
search-
gotten into this.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
you're
yeah, I
from
hope
apartment
this goes well.
searching to like the climate.
To economics. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always
Or
like
just
talking about this
job,
stuff.
like payment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
'cause
talking about
this is
stuff
like
too.
this is how you you explore, right? Like post college and like honestly, I don't know how people in like their teens, right, who don't go to college, like deal with this, because I remember when I was pretty well versed in this stuff when I was like 18, graduating out of high school, right? Mm-hmm. But like not to the level like I've spent more time like on like this stuff, right, and thought about it more now that I'm much older. Right, I'm 25. It's been 7 years between then and now.
Yeah, it is
to actually learn more about this, right,
lot of
and think
knowledge.
about it more.
Yeah.
I don't know how people at like 18 like make these fairly smart decisions, because like it's a lot to like take in and balance everything like that.
How does college play into that? Because you said you don't.
Oh,
know
just
how
because you have like you because like at least in my life, right, how my parents kind of laid it out is like college is kind of a must, right? It's like you got to go to college, right? That was like
Well, that's a
almost-
very traditional.
it is
view.
it is very traditional, right? But it was kind of like a honestly, I kind of relate sometimes to almost Asian parents in a degree. Not so much from the flip flop. I didn't get the flip flop, thankfully, but
Isn't that a Spanish thing?
What?
When they smack you with a flip flop?
oh, Asian and Spanish. Yeah.
Oh, it's both.
But,
Oh, interesting.
oh
Okay.
yeah, but like I was fortunate, but still like the rigorous like you got to have all straight A's.
Yeah, you gotta be
/
really
A
good
pluses and,
academically.
like,
Oh, that
extracurriculars and
sucks.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time I got a B, and that was not fun.
Wow,
God.
that's. I didn't know your parents were that strict.
Yeah, I mean, they were definitely they got less strict over time. When they're definitely less strict now because of like I've
You're out of school.
talked to them and like
Yeah.
I'm out of school.
Yeah.
And like I'm on a decent track now.
Yeah,
right? But they
yeah.
definitely, when I was a lot younger, they're very strict about stuff. And yeah, but yeah, for me, like college was a must. Like you got to go to college, right? And so that was never like there was never a question almost like I'm going to college kind of no matter what, right? And halfway through college I was like, fuck, I don't know if I'll go here anymore. But yeah, that's a whole separate side story. But with that, I feel like I had the extra 4-5 years in my case to actually like think about things and
Yeah.
I see
Yeah.
now,
Like
I
being
see
a,
your point.
like those
Actually
adult
explore
decisions.
my, like,
yeah.
adult decisions, and I had extra time to like grow as a person from like my high school, like dude, my high school self versus my current self, or even shit, my end of college self is
Totally different.
so different.
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's weird, but I won't say totally different, but definitely different. And like I grew so much as a person, and now like okay, I'm okay with making these decisions. Whereas like fuck, my god, I can't imagine making these decisions as an 18-year-old, and like you're thrown into the workforce. Like no wonder. People,
Yeah, I agree.
struggle.
Like thinking about turning 18, finishing high school, and then immediately having to maybe like, because a lot of parents do this where it's like you're 18, you got to get your own place. So having to go out, rent these apartments, be financially stable and understand the consequences of debt and all that stuff is would be daunting to go back and try to do. Like my 18-year-old self would not have been able to handle it as well as my post-college self, because I thought way more about financial things in general coming up on graduating college personally. I'm not saying I would have just like been homeless if I was 18, but I don't know. There was a lot more. College also taught me a little bit about like the worth of the dollar, just because I was poor throughout all of college. So
Right,
being
yeah.
able to kind of scrounge up and have this trial period of like, oh, I shouldn't spend money on that, I have to get this, like, or planning ahead and stuff like that was nice. Maybe a bit of a privileged view, I would say, even.
Yeah.
But
I think I had a very different
I remember Colton.
process than what you guys
Yeah.
are describing.
Yeah, just as a side note, I remember Colton like at the end of college, like I think I at like end of the Japan trip, like you'd saved up, like I think I spent my last dollar.
dude,
like,
I had
actually.
so
Yeah.
I didn't have enough money to like rent the U-Haul from my college or from my parents' place to my new place before I started work after college because this is oh my gosh
Wow.
this is let me go on this for like 5 more seconds
Started
because
from nothing.
Yeah, please,
I
yes, yeah.
remember I had before the Japan trip, you know, we had some sort of money, we had some sort of amount of money, and then I also had like I think $400-$500 in Ethereum at the time, and I pulled it all out because I was like, I want to have this money to spend, and that would be, you know, a lot more money now. That would be probably like $7,000 now or something like that. Yeah, kind of a
Anymore
big
it'd be like
oof.
$200 because I feel like if hasn't Ethereum, it's like it's gone back up, but after this crypto crash recently, it's gone way down.
Oh,
I mean,
it's
Bitcoin is
still way more
It's
money
still
than what
much
I
higher
had.
than it
'Cause
was when we were in college.
This was like middle
Oh,
20.
really?
This was like you could buy Ethereum for $200 a pop, I think, when I pulled out.
it was 260. Oh, really?
Yeah, it was something
Okay.
like that. And
How
it's
much is
still
Ethereum
1,000
now?
plus
Is it-
right now, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So it's not like it was
Because
a ton of
Bitcoin
money.
is at 16, which is like the lowest it's been since
For a
like
while.
2016, I think.
Yeah. But either way, I don't regret
Tell you
doing
exactly
it.
how much Ethereum is right now.
But I had so little money in the bank account. I'm like, I'm pulling out my Ethereum. I gotta get that sushi. I gotta get that whatever. And it
Ethereum
was
is
great.
at 1,100 right now.
Yeah. So I had a couple.
I should have gone in then.
I still have some Ethereum that I'm holding out on. I bought some. I
I
was
never
like,
sold.
After I made that mistake, once I went back into the workforce and started getting money, I'm like, I'm just gonna put a little bit of Ethereum in every month, and I'm just gonna watch it grow. And it's been growing and collapsing recently, but that's a whole other thing. That's a completely different topic.
I guess I don't know how you would describe what we were just talking about, but I definitely
Adulting.
had the option of going to college. Like my parents are not this like strict like yours, Michael. If I didn't want to go to college, they probably would have said, okay, you know, what's your plan?
Yeah.
You know, come up with a plan, you know, go for it. But I did want to and was lucky enough to be able to go. So, but if I didn't though, I mean, I was already working a job, right? I would have stayed with my parents for a bit until I figured out what I wanted to do, and then gone from there. I think my perception of the dollar was very realistic, you know, towards the end of high school, just
Okay.
because I got used to it from working. You know, I wanted to do things, so I had to work, and I just think my experience was very different from the two that you had described just then. Although college was very nice to kind of get a better understanding of some of the more technical aspects of learning that I wanted to explore, right?
Right.
Like learning about engineering and then saying, nah, you know, like figuring out the kind of the requirements of a more technical job, you know, and then scaling back from there. And it was also, I think, good from like I took it mainly more as a social endeavor than as a place of learning.
Yeah.
Even though it was
For sure.
learning, like, and that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, I feel like you learned a lot, especially about like IT and stuff on your own, which I really like. I got kind of like, I don't say jealous of, but like I'm like I really respect you for, in a way, because like
Thank you.
I learned IT a lot from and like our skill sets, right? Through I got a job at a campus, so I learned that way. But you delved into more of like some more advanced things just on your own in your own like essentially your own home lab, right? And investing in that. And like I wouldn't say you didn't see treat it as a learning experience because you learned a fuck ton in college.
Well, I mean,
right?
yeah, it was a huge learning experience,
Yeah.
but I definitely knew from the get-go, from like high school, that it would be more of a social thing for me, in addition to learning, and it's kind of what I took it as. I don't think, and I think, as opposed to end of college versus, or beginning of college to end of college, I don't think I changed all that much, but there are definitely aspects that have changed slash just deepen knowledge in certain areas. I think it would be the main difference.
Yeah, gotcha.
I don't know. I don't know exactly what put me in that state of mind, but my parents were definitely not like strict growing up. So
Both your parents are artists. It makes sense.
yeah, but they still wanted me to do well and do good, So
Yeah.
I mean, they're like, don't be failing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
more than that, like they definitely encouraged me. All right, you want to get A's and B's, you want to have a good GPA, because I think their whole thing was wanting to set me up for success for what I wanted to do, rather
whatever path you take.
And maybe even if it wasn't their intention, right? The result being, they wanted me to be able to do what I wanted to do, right? You don't want to have any doors closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And grades could maybe
And-
close doors. So let's
And
not
grades
do
can
that.
close doors, right? But they weren't hard, strict of saying you have to get all A's or no dinner for you.
No dinner.
Never anything
Only
like that,
vegetables. Yeah.
So I think that definitely allowed me more time to just do things on my own, which let me figure some things out that I would have otherwise had to figure out later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I was somewhere in between. Like my college was kind of expected of me, though if I really said, I don't want to go to college, then my parents would have been like, yeah, that's fine. Okay. But then they would have also asked me, what's your plan? Because I'm happy that I kind of got like coerced into college because I really liked that path. Even though it is kind of a thing where a lot of kids, when you're 18, you don't always know. Maybe sometimes it's not the best thing for you to do is go to college. But for me, I mean, just being kind of someone who liked STEM things in general, was the obvious choice to at least start on the college path and then figure it out from there. So, yeah, I almost enjoyed being coerced into going to college, which I feel like a lot of people don't actually enjoy. They felt forced into it, and they're like, "Dang it! I wish I had that choice for myself."
I mean, that's me. I felt like I was pretty much coerced.
Would you go?
Yeah.
Would you not go to college though? Like, not like it's not like your whole life changed. Like, say like we're all still friends, we're still doing podcasts, but like you could have had a different career avenue by not going to college. Would you have tried to risk that? You think?
I probably still would have, thinking back, but
Yeah.
in the mindset I was when I was younger,
Yeah.
like if I had not had that, honestly, if I hadn't had that coercion, right? I'm like, it's kind of like this weird thing. Like, I'm thankful for it, but also not.
Yeah.
Because like I probably would have like dropped out or not gone to college because just how I was. Right.
Right.
And there, like with that, but I mean, I still probably IT would have been what I followed anyway.
Yeah. Like kind of would have
Which is
been
weird, even though I really love like the job experience that I had, right? Starting sophomore year or whatever. That was like, I loved that. Because that really pushed me down this path and I enjoy what I do. But, I probably would have found something else and I probably would have fallen down this path eventually because I liked computers and stuff like that. It just, something would have pushed me in that direction, right? So it's almost like weird, this like gravity or fate, right?
Yeah.
Not so much like your destiny is pre-planned, but more so like there's certain things that you just gravitate towards, and you kind of eventually sooner or later will stumble into this path, and it'll kind of like work with that. Maybe I probably been slower. Like I probably would have started later down this, and I wouldn't be able to like work up like to a bigger level, because honestly, college degree goes a long ways, and I think we've talked about this before. It's a great, honestly, like a fallback plan.
It's a good, at its very least, a good fallback plan.
When you're talking about opening doors, anything in the technical fields for college is like that opens a lot of doors for
it's
job
definitely
opportunities.
It's definitely a big cost and time sink, right?
Absolutely.
But you do get that doors will open that were not otherwise there. But it also depends on the job, right? It's not college isn't for every specific job.
Yeah. Depends on the degree.
And college isn't for everybody. There's plenty of successful people that I know who like like shit. One of my acquaintances where I'm at right now dropped out of high school and makes quite a bit more money doing like he just is a good businessman and like he's just naturally gifted with that. And he's like, school like is actively like putting me down, and
hindering my
I
development.
can make more money, and I can make money on the stock market, and that's exactly what he
Yeah.
did. And he fairly wealthy, and I'm like, fuck, dude. Like I wish I had that, but he also was just kind of talented in that.
Yeah,
right?
that's-
like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
mean, it's
naturally
definitely that's a
That's a
I'm
rare.
also
One in a
not
million.
I'm not risk oriented, right? I'm a much more cautious. Like of all of us, I'm like, all right, I'm not putting any money in Ethereum. I am a boomer investor. I like putting, I like my try to get my 7.
I put my money in oil and gold.
Gold, silver.
not that boomer. I'm not. That's silent generation. No, I'm talking about like I'm going to put my money in the stock market, try to get that 7-8% return maybe, and get it accumulate interest over time. Right? Just
Maybe in 60 years I'll have enough to retire.
not 60, but like 30, 40, and then I'll have enough to retire. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Put it in my 401k and like stuff like
401k,
that. Right? Fairly.
yeah. Avid, like, yeah.
Although I don't like my 401k because I don't have. There's a couple mutual funds that I want to have access to, and I don't have access to them on my 401k, so I need to actually do a Roth.
Yeah,
and
I'm
put money in
actually
that.
okay. This could be a big spiral topic that I was also thinking about investments. Do we want to go down an investment topic route right now, or do we want to save this for another podcast?
I do want to talk
We
about
could
the
talk
topic.
about a whole podcast on that.
Honestly,
okay,
we
yeah.
could.
I've been changing up my investment strategy mostly because very brief, and I won't go too much more into this. My new job has terrible 401k options. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Really?
Current job, it's like through ADP. Do you guys know the software or the company? It's like a HR.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
do.
HR,
Actually. My
that's
previous
why I
company
use.
used that.
So we might
my
not have all
company
the
uses
same
too.
options, Mike, but I have like 15 options. It's like there's one that's
Mine's through Vanguard, so I don't have mine. The investment stuff is through Vanguard.
okay. I don't think my investment
401k.
stuff is through Vanguard, but so little options. The returns, like you look at the history, and I came from a job that had Fidelity, and I loved Fidelity's options. And yeah, this
Fidelity and Vanguard are the top two like mutual funds. Like
yeah. So you're probably quite happy
for 401ks. They're great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not. Again, I don't have access to specific mutual funds that I was looking at from my type of investing.
Yeah.
And, like there's something I'd like to do. Also, I'd like to do some stock stuff as well. I just don't have too many options.
Yeah.
My 401k.
Yeah.
Which I don't like. I have like as you're saying, like I don't have too many options.
Yeah.
Like 15 options or whatever.
'Cause
And
it's-
all of them suck.
Yeah.
I picked the best one I could had access to.
That's kind of, I'm like, I used to put so much money in my 401k, but now I'm just like, okay, I'm going to put the match in. But from there, I have my own Roth. I have my own. I'm thinking about setting up getting into mutual funds. I'm like, dude, stocks, there are certain stocks that I'm just like, I think it's worthy to invest in these stocks long term. Like, it might not be a big 30-year plan, but I'm just like, I'm seeing some of these stocks like steadily grow, and I'm like, that company's not going anywhere for a while. So if I just check in every year, I'll be good.
Yeah, we need to have a entire
We should, yeah.
section dedicated to investing, and we have to also do the whole this is not financial advice
Yeah.
thing.
This is not
Yeah.
financial
It's not
advice.
financial advice, but
this
we're
is
just going to talk to
this
each
is
other.
our strategy
Yeah.
talking about just like getting into it, right?
Okay.
Like,
Well,
Yeah.
I'll bring some questions. I'll bring some stocks that I want to invest in. And honestly, I'm like,
yeah.
I will
and
beat
we'd love to hear your
inflation so
comments on
hard.
it.
Yeah.
Go all whole hog WSB Wall Street bets on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not go that far. Those guys suck. But,
GameStop, gamers, invest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah,
And
I'm in
the
the same
WSB
boat
guys
with
be
you,
like,
Mike.
yes, we do suck.
I am in the same boat. Is
All
like
right.
my general
Yeah.
thing with the
So
investment.
honestly, the one thing I did want to talk about, and I want to get to it before we end, because we've
we
been
ever
going
intro?
long on like essentially this tangent. No, and I probably won't be introing it, honestly. I was like, I can intro this like midway through because I like doing
Yeah.
that, right? You have like a 15-minute opener, and we've gone on for our 15-minute opener for almost an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, with that, I do want the topic I did want to talk about today because Sean and I have been really invested in this. Colton, and you're kind of new. You haven't seen this yet, but it's Andor. This is the new Star Wars show. Currently, as we're recording, it's on episode 11, and there's one more episode, the finale, that is going to air this coming Wednesday. Right? I think when this podcast airs, it's going to be already done. So we're kind of talking like beforehand. But this show is what I've always wanted Star Wars to be. Like I liked Star Wars as a kid, but I kind of fell out of it as I got older because I felt like the stories weren't they weren't
They
intriguing.
keep repeating.
Yeah, they weren't as
it's the same
It was
complex.
the
story
same story.
over and over
It
Yeah.
wasn't as intriguing, and there's much more. You could go in a lot of directions with Star Wars, right? It's a universe that's almost part of our cultural core, but in the States especially, and also across the world.
Yeah,
right?
like
It's
Western
a
culture.
worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah.
And it is so ubiquitous that everyone can basically. Oh, you said a story in the Star Wars universe. Everyone kind of latch on because it's part of like the cultural. I forget the name of it, but it's like that, like that's the almost cultural and conscious.
Zeitgeist.
Yeah, zeitgeist. Yeah.
You
But
say that a lot, so I figured that was the word you're searching for.
yeah, my $2 words. But with that, Andor like goes totally against the grain of what most Star Wars shows go. Like Rogue One is another example of that. I loved Rogue One, and this feels like a continuation of the same. I mean, it makes sense because it's one of the characters from Rogue One. I think you saw Rogue One, right, Colton?
I did, yes. And I did like Rogue
Yeah.
One as well.
Yeah, like to me, Rogue One was one of the best Star Wars shows. It beat all the new trilogy, and honestly, I think it's
It's
probably
definitely my favorite Star Wars.
It's my
movies.
second or third favorite. Like I love Empire and I love Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, it's probably my second
And-
or third as well.
yeah,
Revenge
and
of the
then
Sith is
Rogue
kind of
One.
my favorite, and then probably
Revenge
Yeah.
of the Sith is just
like,
cool.
Honestly, A New Hope is like
Oh, yeah.
Empire's still great. Just it's almost more iconic than
Than
that.
act-
But Rogue
yeah.
One is probably number 2, honestly, even below Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith is awesome because I love the political moments of that. Right, like as a kid, I thought they were boring. I just want lightsaber, Duel of the Fates, crazy lightsaber stuff, fun. But as an adult, I want more intriguing, more detailed plots, much maybe political machinations, right? And like Andor, I feel like delivers on that because there's a lot more intrigue, and it's also starting from a point of you're just a normal Imperial citizen, right? You're a citizen of the Empire, right? You're not like this fated hero. You're just a normal fucking dude who, like, you've seen Rogue One, so you know what happens to Cassian Andor, right? Mm-hmm. He dies in the Death Star explosion, right? Or he dies as the Death Star destroys Scarif base, right? And it feels like that's something I really like about the show. I'm not going to spoil it, Colton, because I know you haven't seen it,
Yep.
but I do want to try to sell you on it.
I
on the
Yeah, I don't need
He's
to
already
be.
sold.
I don't need to
You
be
already
sold.
sold?
I've heard consistently good things, but I'm
Yeah.
more aspects. I'm not. I would like to hear more on. Yeah, sell us and
Yeah.
the audience.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I picked up the show originally, and I think I told Michael to watch it, or you picked it up on your own.
I think I picked it
And-
up on my own. Oh, no, you did tell me to watch it. I was like, oh, sure, I'll try it. Because I would, like, honestly, this is my biggest pet peeve of the show. They named it Andor. Like, yeah, it's about the primary character, but it's more, I feel like, it's more of a story about the Rebel Alliance because there's multiple other POV characters that you see, and it really is about how the alliance is formed, right? This is 5 before the Battle of Yavin, so before the original Death Star explodes, right? 5 years before. So it's more about how these like disparate factions of alliances are coming together. I really can't wait if they're going to do season 2, right? They got to.
They don't have to, honestly.
I'm pretty
I
sure
mean,
it's
they
actually
can-
already announced. I'm not 100% on that. If you guys can double
I
check.
feel like I've heard that too. They're filming it now or something like that.
Yeah.
I like that they named it Andor because it means they don't have to pigeonhole themselves into being just about this whole rebel thing. They can pick another character from the same time and do something else. I don't know. First of all, I think it's pretty much the best TV show Star Wars that they've done.
Yeah. It beats The Mandalorian in my opinion. Like I like Mandalorian. I feel like it's a
I think
good
I like them
return.
both for different things. Mandalorian is just so good from a you want a spaghetti western type vibe, and this is very much more of a it's kind of unique in its own way of how it explores an event that we all know a lot about, but it's shedding light on some of the smaller details of it. And I just like also the how slow they're being with the show, right? Like especially a lot of Star Wars, you jump from one of the galaxies to the other and then back again, and it's always a huge adventure. This isn't some huge adventure. This is the day in the life of several characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. And you kind of get more of a deep dive, and it's just interesting. I saw a good meme about this show where you go into the show hoping, oh man, I really hope there's going to be this cool new Jedi and we get to see his backstory and some lightsaber duels. And then you see after, watching it, the reaction is, oh man, a new episode. I can't wait for another senator talk, political talk scene,
Yeah, right. It almost feels like House
talk.
of the Dragon in that way, because it's much more, it's slower paced. It's much more political, much more, it's all about the details, right? I love dialogue, right? Tarantino.
You see the ramifications
Sorkin.
of actions.
Yeah.
And they're talked about. They don't have, this bad thing could happen, and then it happens. It's more of a, we're actually, this could be a bad situation. We're actually trying to avoid doing that thing, and how that happens.
Also,
it's very interesting.
It also bypasses a lot of the problems I have with traditional like Star Wars type storytelling. Is there tends to be one a very bad versus good. There's a lot more gray in the story, right? You have good, like, quote unquote good characters doing bad things, and you have bad people doing relatively good things, and you have there's a lot of middle ground and the grayness that you don't really get outside of the traditional Star Wars. Now you do get that in Mandalorian a bit, but like Mando is normally portrayed as he's a good guy, right? But he's also a bounty hunter, like, kind of a roguish type, right? Han Solo-y, maybe not as maybe not as suave or suave as Han Solo, but whereas with Andor it's much more much more gray, and two, not a ton of exposition, right? The classic Star Wars trope of the text scroll at the very beginning.
Yeah,
None of that. And there's very little exposition in the actual story itself. It's very well implemented. Like the writer, like props to the writer on this, right? The director, awesome, but the writer on this, the show, excellent job.
I think everyone's doing a really good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I don't like though? I don't like there's like no aliens in this
it's
show.
only humans.
It's just all humans.
Interesting.
I mean, there are several aliens, but it's a lot less than in previous Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, though. I mean, humans in Star Wars, especially Imperial, right? That was like a big thing, right? But yeah, I mean, it makes sense that...
It kind of does make sense as well when the Empire's involved, because the whole, like, Nazi correlation.
Yeah, they're very fascistic, yeah.
I don't know if they've ever even delved into that in Star Wars, or if this is an unintentional thing that has happened. I mean, if it's a show, they have less budget, therefore less special effects for aliens, right? That's the practical reason.
I think that's the main reason, yeah.
The unintentional thing is, some of these weird...
It's like,
what's the word for
like political, ethical reasonings, like
stuff like that. Yeah,
that's interesting. I never realized, but stormtroopers, they're only human. There are no aliens, right? For like stormtroopers.
Well, stormtroopers. Well, I mean, they were originally the clones, right? But then they started conscripting people.
Yeah.
But I guess they were all humans. Yeah.
Or like full on, yeah. I think they're all 100% human, right? Because remember, you have to admit, the Empire is like, you never see aliens as like Imperial officers, right? The Empire is a human. It's like a traditionally human. It's like xenophobic, right? It does not like. It tends to like the Wookiees, right? Story wise, like were enslaved by the Empire.
Yeah,
and they're like one of the main labor forces on the Death Star, right? Then the Geonosians from Attack of the Clones, right? They were essentially wiped out of existence after.
That makes sense,
because they're the ones who designed like the Death Star, right? And created the original superstructure as like labor force, and then they got fucking wiped out to keep the thing secret, like literally genocided.
Literally genocided.
I like actually Star Wars, and you're like, oh, this is actually dark as hell, right?
Yeah.
There needs to be some darkness in the Star Wars, right? It's not like this I don't like good versus bad stories
Yeah,
because
and
that's
black
not the
and white.
world.
Yeah, that is.
There's a lot more
there's
gray.
so much room for gray and just darkness in Star Wars
Yeah.
that I like that they're exploring now.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
because they have an amazing universe to work within, and they could. I want them to go back 3,000 years
Yeah.
and just see and just do a random story there. You know, it'd be so cool.
I would love them to remove
I don't know about
themselves. I would love
I
that.
think they should. I think they should stay around like the either the Clone Wars or during the Empire times. Or I'd love to actually see that during the Empire times because it lends to some really good of that gray storytelling. I mean, I'm really liking this. And like maybe the post, you have the gray storytelling of the post Empire, right? During the kind of the chaos as
Sure.
the Empire fell. Like I would actually love to see a story where how they tie maybe like they somewhat like hide the canon from like the sequel trilogy, but if they can like somehow get the like throw together how the New Republic was formed after the collapse of the
Yeah.
Empire, right? And maybe some of the dirty dealings that has to go on that one
well,
too.
I
right?
want to see the old Republic.
That's what I wanna
like all
see,
that
too.
stuff.
or,
And I
or like
think
the Republic
if-
at its height. Yeah.
Yeah, and that would have been a long time ago. And then even more so, if you want to delve into the Force, and a ton of stuff about Jedi, it's best to do that like 3,000 years ago,
yeah.
because the Jedi Order has been around for millennia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Something like 10,000
they-
years or something like that.
they had the whole War of Mandalore they could go into, and that was thousands
which
of years
one?
ago. Yeah, exactly.
there's like 5 wars of Mandalore.
I mean, there's so much they could do about things that happened a long time ago that would have been
Yeah.
that I think would be really cool to explore. But I think that's the great thing about the Star Wars universe in general is there's so much to it that you can do almost anything.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to be able to write a good story, and luckily they did a good job with Andor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, this is one of the first. This is actually the first story, like Star Wars story, that made me legitimately terrified of the Empire. Like before, the Empire was usually displayed as fairly incompetent, bumbling idiots, right?
Right,
Like
yeah.
they screwed up. Vader would force choke them to death.
Yeah.
And then, hey, next guy in line.
Next guy come
right?
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, they're portrayed as a much more. They're just like even more
I
ruthless
mean,
in this
it's
case.
a war machine,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're more ruthless and they're extremely competent. Like, especially there's a. No, okay, I won't spoil it. There's one specific character that's displayed as extremely, like, fairly competent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Extremely ruthless Empire, and you're like, oh shit, like
Here we
they're
go.
legitimately terrifying
They-
because they propose like a big danger to like the alliance. Being
Our
formed,
heroes,
right?
yeah, our characters that we
Yeah.
love and
Yeah,
love dear.
our quote unquote heroes. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and
it's good. I
it's
think
excellent.
I think they hit the nail on the head. Pretty much every nail they're trying to hit.
Yeah,
they hit
yeah.
on the head.
So
Yeah. I'm just really excited for this finale episode.
finale.
I heard it's really good because I there's some couple Star Wars people I saw had actual press access to see the finale, and they're
Oh.
like,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Nice.
it's fucking good."
Nice.
I'm like, all right, maybe
Is it
they're just trying to
longer, do you
keep
know?
their.
Is it like an hour and a half?
I don't know, but they did say
I
that it's
hope.
like it was like a short I saw pop up, and I'm like, yeah, this shit's good.
This shit's good.
And I was like, all right, I know they may just want to try to keep their press access, but I trust this person. So.
I mean, I have no doubt that it's going to be good. It's hard to have a whole season of good writing and then mess it up at the end. You know,
Now, I have a question for you guys because this has always been something interesting to me. Like, Star Wars is so divisive. It's always been kind of like, some people love this movie, the other half of the fandom hates it. And then it's like, there's always Star Wars fans always kind of, as a community, they have like really criticized the films and the mainline films quite hard. But Andor is like, everyone comes together and loves it. And everyone's so happy because everything's like really, really good. So what I'm actually wondering is like, I'm like, the new trilogy, the sequel trilogy, right? Not good writing, I would say. Like, kind of like you had new directors keep throwing in there, kept changing the original idea of the story, and like you see Andor come out, and it's like this is so well put together. I feel like we shouldn't, as if you're like a Star Wars fan, you shouldn't like accept anything less. Like, do you think I don't know. Like, obviously, I was going to ask, like, do you think that the quality of Star Wars is going to be up to that level? And I think probably not, just because, you know, you'll have good hits. You'll have stuff that doesn't really, like, you know, land as well. But I don't know.
I
Like,
think there's always going to be a difference between TV and movies.
yeah.
Just because the corporations behind them, behind the funding, are probably not going to trust a person that's going to write a TV show to write a movie. I think that's just a film thing. And you get some of these really good ideas coming out of the TV show people that are given like either a chance to do something or, have, I don't know who the director and writers are of Andor and what they've done. I don't know what they've done before, but I imagine they haven't written for a movie before. And I just think there is that difference, at least like a Star Wars movie.
Like you're thinking like they're allowing more risks to be taken in the TV show sphere than like a movie where it's like they want to play it safe with like a classic story that people will.
I definitely think that's the case, especially for these big IPs.
Okay. Do you think that like this will allow people like will tell Disney like, hey, maybe we should like be a little bit more edgier, do some of these like take the elements from Andor and put them in a movie, or do you think they're gonna still try to play it safe? With stuff
I think they're going to still try to play it safe, but I think they're going to they're going to be like, okay, let's push this, to like just like the Mandalorian, right? Like push it. Oh, let's create something like another spinoff that draws these types of fans.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously there's a lot of response for Andor, a lot of positive response. There's a huge portion of the fan base that actually loves this, right? I wouldn't have said I am a Star Wars fan until like coming in like after watching Andor now. I wouldn't call myself a Star Wars fan until I started watching Andor. Like, okay, now I'm more invested
back into
in this
it.
universe now.
Yeah.
All right, let me. Sorry, finish your thought, and then I have stuff on the writers and directors.
The reason why I say I don't think it'll be mainline is supposedly ratings. I've seen there's a lot of times where, like ratings aren't as high, or sorry, not ratings. Like people watching isn't as high as some other shows. Who knows why that trend is, but there's definitely a desire for this from a certain selection. I think what Disney's probably going to do is we want to hit the biggest amount of people with our mainline movies because they're going to draw the most money.
Right.
But we want to keep other people invested who get pissed off about those movies with these side shows, so they're still within this IP, right? And basically, you're essentially almost splitting the fan base in a way, while also like drawing along the same, because that's basically like I want to have two separate types of stories, so that way I can have one watch the movies to like essentially keep up, almost like you have like the main ones are like Marvel, and you have like these side deep shows are just to keep like the main, to just keep the movies,
like the movies.
Money,
okay.
Right?
I just wonder why, like, you know. I
don't think they'll make a mainline movie though with the same
the same type of storytelling.
Also, it's too slow. Like
I mean, can't have for a movie. Yeah, it's just almost to the thing where it's like I don't know what you guys think. I personally thought the sequel trilogy was not good as far as writing, and it was like I feel like it was not good. But I wonder, it's like, well, I feel like there is no excuse for those mainline movies, even if the story might not be inherently as engaging as Andor, being that gray area political stuff. We should at least have a like 7 out of 10 good, decent, black and white, good evil story. I just wonder why, you have these huge, big budget movies. Do they just not invest in that? Like, why not invest in that writing? Why does it get all messy with like changing the directors and stuff? Maybe this is like not a Star Wars problem. It's a big Hollywood budget
problem in general. Yeah,
I'm just like, because people love Andor.
The studio wants to. I think what happens is you have a lot of times the creative team and the studio team, the one that talks about like like marketing / like that type, and like think about that and think about the dollar values on things.
Yeah,
tend to go in conflict, right? Creative people have a very specific vision, and when those two have to like mix together, it can cause a lot of problems. Now, when you have something like, think about Mandalorian, right? They kind of went, here's your budget for it. You've got this amount of money. Or like Deadpool, I think is a great example. They kind of just like let Ryan Reynolds do his thing with Deadpool, and it turned out fucking amazing and made people a lot of money, right? But they're not doing Deadpool all the time. Even though I wish they
Yeah.
would have more Deadpool-esque things.
I just feel like
let me tell you guys a bit about who directed and wrote Andor.
It's Tony Gilroy, right, is the director. I don't know the writers though.
No, Toby Haynes is the director. Tony Gilroy is the writer.
Oh, okay.
So there were 3 directors and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 writers, although really 5 writers. So Toby Haynes directed 6 of the episodes, Benjamin Caron 3, and Susanna White another 3 of the episodes. So Toby Haynes would be the primary director. He has only directed 19 other things, 18 other things, all TV shows.
most notable.
Some of the ones he's known for, he's directed 5 episodes of Doctor Who, an episode of Black Mirror, an episode of Sherlock,
Black Mirror, that makes sense.
but only 1 episode. And then,
Sherlock 2, yeah, that also makes a lot of sense.
but that's kind of, and also 1 episode of that, and that's
only
kind of
one.
it. Everything else is very never even heard of, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
So one of those things, like, you're taking a chance in this guy, and then so the primary writer is Tony Gilroy. He wrote 5 episodes, but it says created by Tony Gilroy. So the whole thing was kind of created by him, and so he created the whole thing, and then had other people assist on writing several other episodes. Tony Gilroy,
He also did Rogue One, right?
he's been a writer. He's been a producer on 7 pieces and a writer on 21 different things. He's known for producing Nightcrawler, the TV show. He was
TV
a
show
writer
or the movie?
Is it Nightcrawler the camera guy?
Maybe movie.
With
I think it's a movie.
Gilligan?
with,
Gyllenhaal?
Yeah, movie,
Jake
okay.
Gyllenhaal? Maybe?
That's a great movie.
It is a good movie. Yeah.
Absolutely
As-
terrifying, but great.
He's a producer on House of Cards for 26 episodes.
That probably makes sense, right? Political.
He's also, and then he was a writer for Rogue One, although he did the screenplay.
Yeah.
Screenplay for The Great Wall, if you guys remember seeing
Oh,
that.
I remember seeing ads for that.
Not
Yeah.
super well received.
Yeah, that's pretty shit.
Screenplay for The Bourne Legacy, which is the later one. Written by, so he wrote Duplicity. He also did The Bourne Ultimatum and Bourne Supremacy. He did the Bourne movies, essentially.
okay.
Armageddon. That
That is a good one. I like that one.
That's a B
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like an A tier B movie.
A tier
though.
B movie, yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
So again, he hasn't done. I mean, besides the Bourne Supremacy, that's probably the most well known stuff, and Rogue One. So his big break was probably Rogue One, after the Bourne series,
yeah.
and
I
then
mean, Bourne's wonderful.
hey, Bournes are good. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, they're amazing.
But I think the point I was trying to prove is the TV people are definitely you don't get the big names to produce a TV series, so they have more freedom. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But Tony Gilroy, if they were making a movie, they probably wouldn't give it to him. You know?
Yeah.
And that's just that's sad because he'd probably do amazing with it.
It's just interesting to me.
Like Rogue One, which
Yeah.
Rogue One didn't make a crazy amount of money,
but it was
yet
good.
at the same time, it was again like quality wise,
Yeah.
and that's why I think it's not. You have to go for like you'd have Tony Gilroy, right? Do these get put on these side projects that keep the fan base who doesn't like the mainline movies because they aren't that great.
Yeah.
like still
I
engaged
just-
with the Star Wars
I
universe,
just-
right? And so you like alternate them.
I just don't get it. It's
Although
like
you had Solo,
even if you have a
which
super
was not good.
even if you have a super basic story, I feel like you should not have any with the writing of Andor and the writing of all these other things, the big budget. It's like, okay, we know you can do it. We know we can get a team going. You should at least have like a B or like a C to a B script for a mainline movie franchise. And in my opinion, I didn't think the sequel trilogy was a C tier script. I thought that was pretty weak.
oh, it was pretty detailed.
And
yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if there's like detailed analyses on like, well, these directors really didn't agree with each other. There's a lot of drama that caused these rifts in the script, and it like showed itself in the like I'm wondering like all the back layers of these things. Like if it gets really muddy, they should make a movie about that. The movie on why these writing or
Yeah, why
directing
movies
decisions
suck.
were like they're not as good as like you would think they'd be. I don't know.
Yeah, I bet just when there's so much like the leadership, right? You have like the studio leadership and
Yeah.
the director and like the writer, right? If their vision is not in sync, you're gonna come out with a fairly shit movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially like when you have a lot of budget behind
I
it.
just like I agree with all these thoughts on like Star Wars has like so much potential and it's so much bigger than I would say probably a lot of people even realize. They just know this Empire age and plus or minus like a few decades with that. But just being like if we could have this amazing writing with like some of the more unique or different aspects of Star Wars, I mean it would be so good because there's just so much potential. It'd be awesome. I hope the next mainline movie series is an Old Republic movie series for one, and for two, written really well. And I think it would be like Game of Thrones. Like if you write really well and you produce that shit super well, you will get like another like Game of Thrones craze because of the popularity of Star Wars already.
Game of Thrones up to like season 6.
Yeah. But I'm just saying it's like you could bring that that huge cultural like wave of excitement and stuff. I just feel like they could do it, and it's been really hard to. But that's me talking.
It's not an easy task.
Yeah, it's also me talking completely removed from the industry, completely removed just as a viewer that has seen these movies. So there's a lot more to it. I'm sure I'm not getting, but I mean, this is like a big glimmer of hope. I feel like for Star Wars fans, like we can make some good shit. Good shit's coming, and I hope that happens. Like I really do.
Yeah. Maybe one day.
One day we'll get there. Bye.
Maybe one day we'll get there.
Bye. Cut it out. Cut it off, Sean. Just cut us off.
No,
Just
but
an
I mean,
abrupt ending.
Yeah.
yeah, right. I do think we're kind of at the end of this podcast, but thank you so much for listening. And this has been Almost a Podcast.
Oh, we're ending it
with my dudes.
I guess. Yeah. I'm Colton. We never introed
Are
ourselves.
we introducing ourselves?
Yeah.
At the very end,
I'm
yeah.
also Colton.
Oh
yes.
man, Sean's gone.
I am Colton 3.
One of us is
Colton
the
Hughes.
imposter.
One of us. Is the-
Yeah, right. Follow, like, do all the the doobly doos. If you like
Give
our
a rating.
content.
Ratings
Yeah.
help.
Ratings do help.
Definitely
Yeah, ratings.
Pull out a rating.
And we also want to hear your thoughts, especially
1
on-
star or 5, no in between.
Yeah,
Just-
if you
just
leave 1
full
star,
send.
Controversial.
I'd appreciate a reasoning
Yeah.
for this 1 star.
No. No, try to get 50-50 immediately. Like try to balance it out, right? Like
Oh boy.
I'm only a 5-star
controversial
guy. I'm a
podcast.
5-star host.
yeah.
I
And
deserve 5 stars.
We do want to hear your thoughts on like for a future podcast on our thoughts on investment and such. We'd love to hear that, since
We'll have to try to
we're
make.
kind of in similar mindsets on investing. Honestly, if I can
No,
get
we're
my
not.
acquaintance in, if I can get my acquaintance in, I'd love to hear some of his thoughts on that. But who knows?
All right, yeah.
All right.
Thank you for watching. Rate,
Good night,
subscribe.
everybody.
Have a great rest of your evening /day/morning. Bye.
And one day we'll get there.
One day. Bye.